What's up, guys? Welcome to Kid Shot Connor. Hi, I'm Connor. While pretty much all the UFC events in August sucked, Killing Salkilld did just give us something very interesting to talk about as he's shaking up the lightweight division quite a bit here. We're going to break down the entire main card of UFC Apex 2836. Plus, I'm going to give you some perspective on what I think is going on in the lightweight division, kind of the changing of the guard, if you will, at that division, because I think it's very interesting. But before we do that, guys, please remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share with your friends, your MMA homies, your grandma. I'm sure she'll love it. Thank you very much. All right, let's break down this card here. It's not actually UFC Apex 236 or whatever the fuck I said. Well, it actually might be 236. I don't know. I've lost track of the number of Apex events. Plus, you know, they just never get the number down for the fight nights anymore, and I kind of hate it. I wish we just went in order with the fight nights. Like, what? Add up all the UFC fight night numbers there's ever been, and then give me that, and then that's what we'll call them from now on. But nonetheless, we were back at the UFC Apex, the new and improved UFC Apex, which you can see here, which I like quite a bit. Looks nice. Like the lights on the wall, like the screens on the wall, makes it look better. A little bit more people in there. I still wish they would just go back to the way things were pre-COVID, in which they would just go to a new city every weekend. But I guess we can't have nice things, so we'll have to do with this. And I do like the improvements quite a bit. Quillan's Salkilld coming up big here. Let's talk about the lightweight division first and kind of how he shook it up a little bit here. As you can see in this awesome image I made, top top half is the new guard. Old guard is on the bottom there. And this is kind of how the lightweight division is currently. We got some guys in there that currently haven't made their UFC debuts. Also, by the way, I know you could add in a few more faces here on the old guard side. You could also add in a few more faces on the new guard side. BSD should be in there. He's still a guy that's in the top of that division. He would probably qualify as one of the new guards. So is Mauricio Ruffy. The graph just didn't look nice when I tried to make it with 8 people. Not that it looks nice now. But anyways, also in the old guard, you could add guys like, oh god, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know who the fuck you could add. There's definitely some more old lightweights though that you could add into that old guard kind of territory. Rafi Fazeev, there you go. That's who I want to add as well. He should be mentioned as well as the top of this lightweight. Anyways, the new guard of lightweight is kind of coming in, and this is something I've been thinking about for like the last year, ever since Dustin Poirier retired. Is like, will lightweight remain as the most exciting division in MMA? And I think we can kind of safely say that it will, even as the old guard starts to retire and fall off and fall outside of the rankings and all that. I think we can safely say that the new guys that are coming up to kind of replace the old guard here are very exciting, and then that they will continue to leave or to put the UFC lightweight division as the very best the sport has to offer. As we can see, we got Saladin Paranass. He's taking on Dan Hooker in his UFC debut. We will see if he actually deserves to be up there and be considered part of the new age of MMA lightweights coming up. Because I'm not entirely sure myself yet. I've only seen him fight that one time on that Netflix card, in which he looked fantastic in that fight. But we'll see how he does when he actually fights someone at a very high level, an elite level in Dan Hooker, which I still think Dan Hooker is. That's still a very good test. I know Dan Hooker might not be in his prime anymore, but he's still a very tough test, especially if you're going to just have a straight kickboxing match with Dan Hooker. So I'm very excited for that fight going down in the beginning of September. Killing Salkilld just made his presence known in this lightweight division with his win over Mateus Gamrot. You could say he did too after the Dariush win as well. Ilia Topuria, of course, has been at the top of the mountain already. Held the lightweight strap with his win over Charles Oliveira. Recently just lost to Justin Gaethje. I'm sure you guys all know that story very well, but I still think we have many more years to come with Ilia Topuria still fighting. Usman Nurmagomedov is someone that is heavily rumored to be signing with the UFC any day now. And he's seeming like he's going to get a top 5 guy in his UFC debut should he sign with them. I think they're going to try to go with Usman Nurmagomedov versus Max Holloway. That'd be my best guess. I think they're going to go with someone like that. If not just a title shot right away, that would surprise me quite a bit. But I think he's going to be getting someone very high level and someone with a very well-known name like Max Holloway in his debut. Paddy Pimblett, of course, is out there with his big win over BSD just recently. We will see what they do with Petty in the future here. I would like a Charles Oliveira matchup, but we'll see if they actually get that one. And then Armin Sarukian is, of course, fighting Mauricio Ruffy in the beginning of September. He should definitely get a title shot immediately after that, especially if Justin Gaethje's not fighting until the beginning of next year. So I don't think Justin Gaethje's going to be fighting until like March 2027. Would be my guess. So I think that kind of lines up perfectly. Should Armin be victorious against Mauricio Ruffy for him to finally get his well-deserved title shot, and we'll see. We will see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to make this just to say, fear not. I think lightweight will be left in good hands once the bottom row guys end up retiring here, because a lot of them don't have many fights left. I mean, we know Justin Gaethje's going to retire soon. He's probably going to go until he loses next. So really, any of Justin Gaethje's next fight could be his last. Renato Moicano doesn't have much left. Dan Hooker doesn't have much left. Max Holloway probably has some good years left. He's probably the one that'll be around the longest on that bottom row. Oliveira, I mean, who knows? You could see a world where Oliveira is one of those guys where we're like begging him to retire. And then Mateus Gamrot, he's only 35, so he'll be around a little while longer still. I'd imagine he will just kind of remain a top end lightweight gatekeeper. But let's get into the card. Of course, in the main event, Quillan Salkilld defeated Mateus Gamrot via submission round 1 in an uberly impressive performance. Was able to really control Mateus Gamrot on the ground. Got a takedown of his own during this fight. The fight opened with him opening up with a short left hook and kind of dropping Gamrot a little bit, wobbling him a little bit on the feet. And then it was pretty much all grappling from there, which is very impressive for Quillan Salkilld, given how impressive Mateus Gamrot's scrambling ability has shown over the years. I mean, you think back to that fight with Armin Sarukian, right? He won that fight just pretty much exclusively doing winning the grappling scrambles. So very impressive for Quillan Salkilld to be able to last in the grappling realm with Mateus Gamrot and then get a submission of his own. I mean, if you really think about this one, it's like he beat Mateus Gamrot quicker and more impressively than Charles Oliveira did. Armin Sarukian didn't beat Mateus Gamrot, right? Although, granted, I don't think Armin Sarukian was as good back then as he is now. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's the best win someone's had over Mateus Gamrot, and it's the young 26-year-old kid who has really just looked flawless in his UFC career this far. I mean, knocked out Dariush in round 1, had that extremely impressive head kick KO, one of the best head kick KOs in UFC history, in my opinion, and really 6-0 now in the UFC. Just made his debut in the beginning of 2025, so hasn't even been here 2 years yet. 26 years old. I mean, the sky is the limit for this kid, obviously. So who knows how good he actually is. So we're gonna have to get him some more tests to really figure that out. Plus, I think that the very top of the lightweight division is gonna be busy for quite a while. So for Quillan Salkilld next, I'm gonna suggest the winner of Renato Moicano, Brian Ortega. I know people want the BSD fight for Quillan Salkilld next. I like that fight, but you know, so if the UFC wants to put it together, I won't be extremely mad or upset or anything. But I think the winner of Moicano or Ortega 2 would be a little bit better suited, just because that person would be coming off a win, particularly if it's not Moicano. I think that makes a lot of sense. That person would be coming off the win, and the UFC typically likes to do winners versus winners, losers versus losers, to kind of keep everything nice and neat. And I have a different plan in mind for BSD that we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, I think the winner of this fight would match up nicely. Plus, they'll be right next to each other in the rankings. I think Quillan Salkilld should be ranked 8 when the new rankings come out on Tuesday. And Renato Moicano is currently ranked 7. So I think that would just leave him at 7 should he be victorious against Brian Ortega. And even if it is Brian Ortega that wins, I think that's a very interesting fight as well. Especially considering it's a new division for Brian Ortega and he would be in the top 10. So set up Quillan Salkilld versus fan favorite Brian Ortega. That'd be very interesting as well. So yeah, I know people want the BSD thing. I'd be completely fine if the UFC ends up making that. But like I said, I like the winners versus winners kind of mindset that the UFC does with their matchmaking. From Mateus Gamrot next, rough loss, man. Pretty much, you know, any hopes of Mateus Gamrot ever getting a title shot in the future it must have come crumbling apart once he realized that he lost to Salkilld. Because I just don't think he's ever going to get there. 35 now, he would have to go on a crazy win streak to ever get there. So for him next, I'm actually going to suggest BSD. I think that's a fun fight to set up. Mateus Gamrot would have a little bit of a grappling advantage in that fight. You'd have to think BSD would have a bit of a striking advantage, especially in power in the hands. And yeah, I think that would just be a very fun fight to set up. Like I said, losers versus losers as well. So I think the UFC would more sort would lean more towards making this than they would giving BSD to Quillan Salkilld. Plus, then the winner of this fight gets back in the winners bracket, and you could set up something big for them afterwards. In the co-main event, Diego Ferreira defeated Billy Quarantillo via unanimous decision. He just used Billy Quarantillo as a punching bag for the entirety of the 3 rounds of this fight. It's kind of amazing how well Quarantillo was able to wear the damage. Billy Q, because his face really wasn't showing it until like the 3rd round. He was getting hit with some massive bombs, but very impressive performance for the 42-year-old Diego Ferreira. Should set him up nicely for something big-ish. I mean, he's never going to get back into the rankings title shot talks, especially at that age. I don't see the UFC pushing him towards that. Calls out Jim Miller after the fact, and I quite like that fight quite a bit, so that's also what I'm going to recommend. These two have somehow actually never fought each other in the UFC career, so I think it's a fairly fun matchup, and I kind of like it when they set up the older guys against each other instead of feeding them to the young, hungry prospect type guys. So Diego Ferreira versus Jim Miller, I think it's a fine fight to make. You can throw that on any fight in a co-main event on an Apex card, or round out some prelims on a numbered event or whatever with that fight. Jim Miller, of course, coming off that big guillotine win over Jared Gordon, which was a very impressive performance. I wonder if we'll get the UFC 400 with Jim Miller, because I mean, how many years away is that? About 5? I don't know if Jim Miller has 5 more years left in him, so probably not. In your next fight, Yadir Vale defeated Darren Elkins via KO round 1. Really not much to talk about here. Darren Elkins is just too old, too slow, too past his prime to be doing this anymore, and Vale definitely took advantage of that. Was able to just land this pretty sneaky left hand through the guard. It wasn't even that sneaky because he just loaded the fuck up on it. But nonetheless, very impressive performance for Dave Vale. Good win for him. Happy retirement to Darren Elkins. Fun career. I will always remember the Mirsad Bektik fight for Darren Elkins. That was a very fun performance. Comeback win for Darren Elkins. And I think will probably go down as the highlight of his career. For Dave Vale next, look, he's young, got good hands. I think he's more of a grappler, which obviously didn't get shown in this fight. But for him next, I'm going to suggest Gaston Bolonos. I think that's a fun fight to set up. Gaston coming off 1 win before his recent loss. I'm drawing a blank on who he recently lost to, but it doesn't matter. I think this would be a fun fight to set up in this featherweight division. In your next fight, Alexia Tainara defeated Amanda Lemos via unanimous decision in a pretty uneventful fight. There were some big exchanges where both ladies ended up rocking each other. Lemos had her rocked really bad in round 2, and then Alexia dropped her in round 3. But in between that, there was just really nothing going on. A lot of clinch work from Tainara, which pretty much is the thing that ended up getting her the dub here. But she gets herself into this top 10 in this division. For Tainara next, I'm going to suggest Yasmin Lucindo, who's coming off a suspension for testing positive for something, some sort of steroid. But I believe her suspension is up. So I think it's about time to get her back in the cage. And I think she's currently ranked 6th in the women's strawweight division here. So fair enough to set this one up for Tainara, I think, and that'll move her up in the rankings, and also get Yasmin, should she be victorious, it'll get her name back in the title shot talks. In your last fight on the main card, Ty Miller defeated Billy Ray Goff via TKO round 3. And a very impressive performance for this guy. This guy is very fun to watch. It's funny, he trains out of that same gym that Tim Means come from, and he fights like exactly like him. Just the long, lanky kind of Muay Thai stance that you see from these guys. It's very effective, and reminds me of Carlos Condit a little bit as well. Those Albuquerque guys kind of all end up just fighting like each other. And it's very fun to watch. He put on a hell of a performance against Billy Ray Goff. Landed that jab nicely, followed it up nicely with combinations, and really just ended up putting it on him. I don't know why Billy Ray Goff's team let him go out go back out for the third round because that just ended up being very bad for him. He got put away within 10 seconds of that third round. So it was a bad call by the corner. They definitely shouldn't have let him go back out for that. I should have called it after the second, but nonetheless, Ty Miller is your winner. I'm going to just chuck Buffalo for Ty Miller next. I think that'll be a fun fight to set up, both on a 2-fight win streak now, and definitely move the winner of that forward, get them into rankings conversations. Maybe not quite there because of how stacked welterweight division is, but will certainly move them closer to where they want to be. For the post-fight card rating, I don't know what we want to do here. It was a decent card, but the name value wasn't very good at all. I'm going to give it a 6.5. One of the lower cards of the year, but definitely a peak moment with Quillan Salkilld, kind of having his show up and show out performance against Mateus Gamrot. So that brings it up a little bit for me. So 6.5, not too bad, especially for an Apex card. And that will do it for the video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. I will be doing a preview video for UFC 330 coming up here in a couple days, so be on the lookout for that, and I'll see you in the next one.